Hi. I love a lot of things, as I imagine you do too. I love it when it's sunny out and I can go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. I love food. I like making food. I like eating food. I like traveling to new places and different countries, and I love spending time with family and friends, as I know you do too. But the kind of love I want to talk to you about today is expressed through the Greek word agape or agape found in the Bible. It's a Greek word, and it's a godly love. And I think probably the best way for us to understand this is through the example that Christ set for us when he was here on earth. So I'm going to cover 6 ways that Christ showed us love that can be summed up in one word: actions. Christ was more than just talk, wasn't he? He did a lot of things that demonstrated his love. And one of the first ways that he did that is that he healed people. He took he had a lot of care and concern and empathy and sympathy for people suffering. A lot of physical illnesses and even mental health issues, demon possession and other things. And he became well known for his ability to heal. So people would come from far and wide to be healed by him. Before they ever started listening to his message, they came to him to be healed. That then gave them the desire to hear what he wanted to share with them. And so that brings us to the second thing that he did that showed love is he taught them, he educated them, he helped them to understand the scriptures better than they did. He brought new life and meaning to what they knew or maybe didn't even know. And he was very creative about it. The third thing he did then is he fed people. As he grew a following of people, a great multitude began to follow him around to hear him teach and be healed by him. They would get hungry, wouldn't they? And again, he had compassion on them for the fact that they were hungry and that they had sat and listened to him maybe for hours without food. And he took of his meager possessions, he and the apostles, and then he, of course, with divine help, miraculously turned that into more. But the lesson is still there for us in how we show love. Another thing he did is he raised the dead. He, again, of course, had divine ability to do that. But think about what that actually tells us. Again, he could have just had compassion by expressing words of grief to the people that had lost loved ones, but he took that a step further and he did something. He showed them his love for them by bringing their loved ones back to life. He also prayed on behalf of people. And notice that he didn't go around saying to people, "Oh, I'll pray for you." He just did it. I don't know that he even actually said, "Oh, I'll pray for you." I think sometimes we say those words in a very trite way instead of just going and doing it. And finally, the last thing that he did for us, which is really, I think, sometimes hard for us to wrap our brains around fully, is he gave his life for us. And that is the greatest act of selfless love anybody can do for another person, to give their life for another. So when we think about showing that kind of love to each other, remember, it's about what we do, not so much about what we say. It's easy to say, "I love you," but it's hard to hear those words of love when our actions are missing, or when our actions say something very different than our words. And we've all been on the receiving end of people's words, but lack of love through what they do. So something to think about in, first and foremost, our own lives. In all things, we can either take a message and hammer somebody else over the head with it, or we can look inwards and go, what do I need to do differently or better to show love to people in my life? Not just the people who are easy to love, who love us back already, but to those who we struggle with, to those who don't always see eye to eye with us, to those that we don't know well, to those that we are in conflict with. That is what Christ did when he was here on earth, and that is what he expects us to do also.